Hi everybody, my name is Jim with Film and Adventure Club, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Wavlink AX3000 outdoor Wi-Fi extender. So, if you have a really large property and you want to extend the range of your Wi-Fi by a lot, or you have an outbuilding or a garage that you want to get Wi-Fi to, this might be right up your alley. Without further ado, why don't we go ahead and look at the tech specs, unbox it, install it, and test it, and see what's going on with this thing. So this is IP67 waterproof rated, so you can use it outdoors. It's great for a range of temperatures that you're going to come across, and it even has lightning protection as well. The Wi-Fi range on this is up to 300 meters, and you can connect up to 256 devices. This is dual band Wi-Fi 6 capable, and you can do point-to-point with another unit where you can really extend the range up to 1.9 miles. With a single unit, however, which is what we're going to be doing, you have multiple options for how you want to set this up. Now with one unit, you have two options. We can use this in repeater mode, in which case it's going to grab the Wi-Fi signal from your router, as long as you mount it close enough that it's in range, and it will take that signal and then rebroadcast it and amplify the distance. The installation that we'll be doing today is the AP router mode, in which we use a Ethernet cable run from my router to the power supply and then through another Ethernet cable all the way out to the extender, and that's going to give it perfect fast data, and then it's going to take that and rebroadcast its own Wi-Fi signal and really give you some really good speeds. All right, so starting with what's in the box here, we're going to go ahead and open this guy up and see what we have. In order to attach this guy to a pole or a small tree, they are going to include these two really long hose clamp type straps that you can put on to a pole or a tree. You're also going to have your provided Ethernet cable, a power supply, some mounting hardware, two pads of sticky double-sided tape, and your PoE adapter for your power, the unit itself, and you're going to have all your instruction manuals as well, and they even give you a little wrench to tighten some things up once you install that guy. I'm going to be using Cat 6 cable. I have 1,000 feet of it here, so I'm actually going to run this all the way from my router to the tree that I'm going to be installing this on. So why don't we go ahead and check this guy out. You do have a reset button right there, and you're going to have your Ethernet connecting port. You're also going to have this little plastic plug that's going to screw into place and protect that little compartment from any water damage. And you're going to want to put this onto your cable first before you put on your Ethernet end, your termination in there. So that just screws onto there, and then you unscrew this back half, and you're going to go ahead and feed your cable through this little rubber grommet and into that end. If you're using this with a pre-made Ethernet cable, you're going to have to take that rubber grommet out because it's only going to fit on there before you put the end terminal on. So in order to do your own Ethernet cable and to put your own Ethernet terminating end on your connector, you're going to need a little splice kit like this and some little ends so you can kind of splice those into place and make your own cables. They're very, very handy. It takes a while and it's kind of a pain, but they're very useful. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and wire this up. Now I won't go into crazy detail about how to put one of these ends on, but basically you're going to remove the outer jacket of the Cat 6 cable and then straighten out all of these little tiny wires, and you're going to want to get them nice and straight, and then you're going to line them up so that they match the little color-coded index that's on the stripper, and then once you push them through the plug, you're going to crimp it, it'll cut off the excess wire, and there you have your little terminal end, and you're good to go. Now we're going to take this little template for mounting the unit itself that came with it, and we're going to put a little screw into each one of those holes. Once we have that done, tear that off, slide the unit onto the screws and down. Now it's nice and secure, and we can plug this in. We have our nice little terminal in there. We're going to plug in the Ethernet, then we're going to slide up that plug that we put on before we did that end, screw that into place, and once you bring up this secondary bottom and screw it in, it's going to tighten that rubber grommet, protect it from water, and tighten up the cord so it's nice and secure. You're also going to want to make a little drip edge here so that if water drips down the cable, it's going to drip off the bottom and not run into the device. And now we're just going to attach all the wiring going around my house and to my router. Now I already have this little box for an entry point going into my house right by the router. If you don't have one of these, you're going to need to go ahead and drill a hole to get the cable through. Leave yourself plenty of slack. You want to have too much, it's way better than having not enough. So leave yourself plenty, run that inside, and let's get inside and hook this guy into the router and everything else. So now that we're inside, you can see that cable comes through the wall right there, and we already I put a terminal end on it, and you're going to plug this into the power supply on the PoE side. It's going to say PoE. Then you're going to plug in your power adapter, plug that into the little splitter there as well. And then we're going to take the white provided Ethernet cable, plug that in, turn on the power, and plug this directly into our laptop for setup. Once you plug it into your laptop, this page should automatically come up. You're going to follow the directions and set up how you want this device to be used and all of your other settings. So you go through that, and once that's done, you can unplug it from your laptop and plug it directly into your router. Now, see our cable going down there, it's going to come in. I wanted to replace that white Ethernet cable, so I made a black one that's going to go up to my router, but there you have your power supply. And I replaced the white cable with a black one that I made, so that's going to go over, and we're going to plug that guy into our router, just like so. And then we are going to turn on the power button for the booster, and we are good to go. My internet is fiber, and so it has a maximum download speed of 100 megabits per second and a maximum upload speed of 100 megabits per second when everything is working perfectly. So why don't we jump outside and test this guy out, see how well she does. So this is on the opposite corner of my house, away from the router. You can see the booster is mounted there in the trees. And what we're going to do is just set up this little phone right here to test the internet speed. And I will also, this is with the booster off, and I'm also going to try and throw up the screenshot there so you guys can read that a little bit better. But at this distance, with the booster off, we're going to get 32.4 download speed and 6.38 upload. So now I'm gonna turn on the booster and leave the phone in the exact same spot. And so we're gonna come out here and try that speed again. And we are going to get, boom, right at 100 megabits per second download and 96.3 upload. So that's almost full speed right there. And now what we're gonna do is move up a little bit past the RV. And we're going to run the test again. So this is with the booster off. And so again, we're going to just go ahead and run that test and see what we get out of this guy. And as that comes up, we are going to get 15.1 download. And for upload, that's going to be 3.11. So this is kind of the upper range of how far my router inside the house is actually going to make it. So now we're going to turn the booster on and give this another shot at just about the max range. It's a little bit higher up with the booster on, and we'll see what we get here. And it is just at full speed. So we got 107 download and 94.9 upload, which is very impressive, and that's going to be great. Now we're going to move in front of the house, and this is about 133 feet from my front door. So, around 140 feet from the booster that's, up there on the left by the water tank. But we're going to go ahead and run this. This is about the outer limit of where my normal router will go. So this is with the booster off. We're going to give that a test with just my router inside the house. And we are going to get 15 download and 2.3 upload. So that's about as far as my Wi-Fi is going to reach without the booster. So what we're going to do now is turn the power onto the booster and run that test again in the exact same spot. And we are getting 98.7 download and 94.9 upload. So that's night and day difference. That's incredible. Now I went all the way to the edge of my driveway where I could not get any Wi-Fi from my router with the booster turned off. This is at 203 feet away from my front door. And so we're going to go ahead and run that test with the booster on because I was unable to do this test this far. My original router does not make it this far. And as you can see, we're getting 106 download and 95 upload, still full speed. That's just crazy. So I said, okay, I'll go all the way across the road past my neighbor's house. And this is at 300 feet. And we're gonna leave the booster on and we're gonna check the speed from all the way over here. This is beyond what I thought it would be able to handle, at least certainly at any kind of fast speed. But as you can see, boom, we're getting 102 download and 94.9 upload. It's still just incredibly fast. That's full speed. So I thought that was incredible. That's a really cool distance. I also wanted to check the signal behind the booster because it's I wanted to see if it was directional, if it was still going to give you a decent signal from behind it. So this is just about 20 feet behind where the booster is pointed. And as you can see, it's throwing out a really wide arc here. So we're getting 103 down, 95 up, definitely works behind the booster as well. Now, inside the RV is really what I wanted to test out here, because sometimes we have company, they're going to stay in the RV and they want to be able to watch TV on their phones or do anything else like that. And once you get through all the walls of my house and then the walls of the RV, we have pretty slow speeds in here. So this is really what I was excited to see about boosting it inside of the RV. So with the booster off, we're going to run that test and we're going to end up with 30.9 download and 5.52 upload. Now we're going to turn the booster on and we're going to run that test again in the same spot. And as you can see, we're just blazing fast, full speed, 105 download, 97 upload. So massive improvement. Now here's the biggest trouble spot that I have is in the back bed of the RV. For whatever reason, it's just going through the chicken coop, the house, and the walls of the RV, the bathroom opposite side. And I've just always had terrible service in the back bed of the RV where it's parked. And so this is where most of my guests would stay. And so they were having, no luck whatsoever being able to use their phones up there connected to my Wi-Fi, because as you can see, we're getting 0.56 download and no upload speed whatsoever. Sometimes we'll get a flicker, but not often. And now I'm going to turn on the booster, leave the phone in the same spot. I forgot to push the screen record, so I can't throw that up for you guys, but I'll make sure I zoom in so you can see this after this test with the booster on in the biggest dead spot that I have. And boom, we got 103 download and 96.1 upload. And I'll zoom into that so you guys can see. Absolutely phenomenal test. I was blown away with the coverage and the power of this thing. So really impressed with the testing. Very cool, very successful test.